Welcome everybody. Today we are going to learn how to get to the next page when we are scraping something with Beautiful Soup. For example, an internet shop, and we have hundreds of items, but we can only view 10 on each page. So today we are going to learn how we can scrap the first items, then click to the next button, scrap the next one, click on the next until we have scraped everything, just like this. To do this, we are going to use the code we used on the previous video. This one that we used to scrape the best CD praise website. If this is your first video doing web scraping, I recommend you to go to the first part. I'm going to drop the link to that lesson and this code on the description box. Well, let's go. First, we are going to refactorize the code. That means that we are going to take blocks of code and we are going to extract them into their own functions. For example, this code. This code creates a data frame using the data with these columns and creates a CSV file when we are going to store all the albums we scrape. So we cut this code, we come here after the base and search URL, and we are going to create the function def export table and print. We are going to paste the data and we are going to paste the code. But also we are going to clean this name, this band name. We are going to use clean band name and we are going to take the band name, change it into lowercase, and we are going to replace empty space with an underscore. This way, if we are going to search for Sex Pistols, instead of Sex space Pistols, is going to be Sex underscore Pistols. So the name is going to be a string without spaces. That might cause some problems sometimes. Now we're going to, we need to call that function export table and print that. And we're going to check that this still works. After the for loop. Okay, let's try. And we need to put it on the same indentation level. Okay, let's try now. Not overhead. We'll get the first 10 and we create the CSV file. Okay, this is still working. Now we are going to refactorize this block of code. If you remember, this fetches the information, the values of the album, and appends it to the data. So we can move this to its own function. Let's call it, I don't know, let's call it get CD attributes, and we need to pass the CD. And here we're going to create the function. It was get CD attributes. We pass the CD and it's a function and we paste the code. Let's check that the indentation level. Okay. Seems that it has to work. Let's check it again. Okay, we get 10 as before. Everything is working. And now our code is way simpler. but we are still only getting 10. That is because this is not recursive. It comes here, it takes the search URL, comes here, gets the CD attributes of the first 10 CDs, and that's it. We need to repeat this code again and again every time we have a new URL. Let me explain it. We are going to use this recursive flow. We are going to create a parse page function that is going to do this functionality. Okay? It's going to parse the first page. Well, it's going to parse an URL and grab all the album information, only 10 items. It's going to parse that 10 first elements. It's going to check if there is any data to parse. If yes, it's going to fetch all data using getCD attribute. Then it's going to get all the pagination links. These ones. Previous, next, and 1 to 10 in this case. It's going to check if the last one has next as a text. It's going to come here, check if next is the text, and if there is no next page link, then there is nothing more to parse. We are going to save all the data into the file. If we have a next link, that means that we have another URL to parse. We are going to get the next page. We are going to come here, we are going to come here, take this link, and we're going to come back here again and parse that page again. We are going to keep this flow again and again until there is no next link or there is no more data to pass. Okay? It's everything clear? Let's do it. Let's come here and we are going to grab everything and we are going to create its own function. Def parse page, and we are going to pass an URL. Very important. Well, we have to indent this, but here, before we have search URL, now we are not going to parse the same URL again and again. We are going to parse the URL that we are going to pass to this function, okay? The first time is going to be the search URL blah 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 page 1, then page 2, 3, 4 until the end, okay? And then right now we only have 3 functions. We are going to call this function to initialize the script, and here we are going to pass search page, the first one. It's going to come here, grab the URL, parse it, get the items, it's going to loop for all the items, and this data, I forgot, this data is going to be used here, and this function, and here too. So data has to be global. To be global has to be on the root of the script, because if we keep the data here, the scope of that object is this function. Outside this function, we can't use data unless we put it here on the root of the file. Okay? Let's check it. Oh, I forgot. It's search URL. Come here. Overhead. It's only grabbing 10 rows. Why? Because we are only calling this function, this parse page URL, that is going to get all the values and everything once. Now we are going to add the recursion, and to do so we are going to come here, get all the pagination links, these ones. From all of the links we are going to grab the last one. We are going to check that the last one has the next text, and if the text is next, we are going to get the partial or relative URL. Let me explain it. This is not a full URL, because if we come here, we have best cdprice.co uk search blah blah blah, but we only have the search, the second part of this. To use it, we need to concatenate it with the base URL. So we are going to take search keywords, Sex Pistols, blah blah blah, and we are going to add it to the base URL. That only if we have the next link. If not, we are going to call this function to export the table and print to create the CSV file. So first things first. After we have parsed all the once we parse the first items, the first 10 items, we are going to grab all the links. Next page text. This is the beautiful soap, and we are going to find an unorganized list UL, but not every unorganized list, because we have 58, a bit too much. So we are only going to take this one, the one with this class, search breadcrumbs. We come here and we say UL, but also class, and then we are going to find all list items, and we are going to get not the first, not the second, but the index -1. That is the last one, and we are going to take the text. Let's print it. Next page text. Let's get tank, and we have here next. This next is the print of the next page text, so we can call this function again. After this, we are going to check if next page text it's equal next. If it's equal to next, we are going to take the partial link, add it to the base URL, and call this function again, because we are going to have the second page. We are going to come here, call it, scrape all the data, search if we have a next page, come here again, all this recursive flow. Okay? If we have next, the next page partial URL is going to be find, pretty much like this. We're going to get the same link, but this time we don't want the text. We need the find the first link, and we are going to get the href. This is the partial link, but we need the next page URL, not the partial link. So next page URL, we are going to concatenate base URL and the partial URL, base URL plus next page partial. This is hard. But first we are going to check if this is working. Page URL, print next page URL. Now it's time of real music. and we have the next page URL. Let's grab this, copy. Cool, we have the second page. This is working. So now, instead of print it, we are going to call recursively this function again. Parse page next page URL. But this is an infinite loop. What happens when we don't have a next URL? If we don't have a next URL, it is because we are at the end of the search results. So we need to print it. We are going to use this function. Else. So if we have a next link, we call this function again. If not, we are going to extract the data. I believe this is going to work. Let me check. We have scraped 100 albums. As you see, we have scraped the first page, the second one, until the 10th. Everything is working. Now you know how you can scrape not only the first result of a page, but every single link until the end. Now you can scrape every CD, every book, every whatever you want with beautiful soap. But I found a bug when I was doing this code. Sometimes some bands have a multiple of 10 albums. Maybe it has 10 albums, 20, 30, 40, whatever. And we reach a page without anything but a search return no results page. Or sometimes we try to find something and there is no result. For example, instead of rancid, I try to do like this and I get this error because can't get this. I found a solution and we can use try catch. Of course we can put this code in try catch, but I found something better. We can do this. Before searching for another link, we can check if there is no results. Results equals bs find URL. And now if we have check no results and check no results and has text, we print search returned no results. That is when we find a page that has no results because we are at the end, return none. So we can escape all this function. If we reach here, because there is no results, it's going to return none and go outside this function. And this function is called here, so the code is done if we find no results. Let me check it. Search return no results, and we have no CSV file, and everything is working now. Now you know how you can reach the next page. To do so, we have moved blocks of code with the same functionality into functions, like this one. We also put the scraping code inside its own function, this one, and we are going to call it using the search URL. Inside this function, we are going to scrape the code, calling this function after we have fetched all the elements. After it is done, we are going to check for the next URL. If there is a next URL, we are going to call the function with the next page URL. We don't need this no more. And if not, this else, we are going to end the scrape and store the information into a CSV file. Well, I hope you liked the video. I'm going to upload 1 or 2 tutorials video like this one every week, so if you like it, subscribe, turn on the notifications and like this video. I will see you on my next video.